Hey there! If you're dealing with the discomfort of piles or hemorrhoids, I want you to know you're in the right place. We're going to walk through a really practical guide based on expert advice from Arka Anagraha Hospital that shows how the food on your plate can be one of the most powerful ways to find relief and start healing.
Look, if you're watching this, you're probably all too familiar with just how frustrating this condition can be. But here's the good news. Getting relief can be a lot more straightforward than you think. We're about to explore some really effective steps you can take, starting right now with what you eat.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get a handle on what's actually going on. Then, we'll dive into the incredible power of fiber. We'll look at all the amazing foods that heal and the ones that might be making things worse. After that, we'll cover some key lifestyle habits and finally, talk about when it's time to check in with a doctor. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's start with the absolute basics. Before we can fix the problem, we've got to understand what we're dealing with. So, what exactly are piles, and why is our diet such a massive piece of the puzzle?
To put it simply, piles are just swollen blood vessels. And the number one thing that causes them? Straining. Usually from constipation. And this is exactly where your diet comes into play. What you eat directly impacts your digestion and can either make things a whole lot better or, you guessed it, a whole lot worse.
And that brings us to the real hero of our story, fiber. Seriously, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. Fiber is without a doubt the single most important nutrient for managing piles because it goes straight to the root of the problem, straining.
And how does it work? It's actually a pretty simple two-step process. First, fiber acts like a sponge, soaking up water inside your intestines. Then, all that water makes your stool softer and adds some bulk, which helps it pass through easily, without any need for straining. Simple as that.
Okay, so now that we know fiber is our secret weapon, let's start building our toolkit of healing foods. This isn't about focusing on what you can't have. Nope, this is all about the awesome, tasty things you can add to your diet to start feeling better.
First up, and this is a big one, vegetables are your absolute best friend here. We're talking leafy greens like spinach, fibrous veggies like broccoli and cauliflower, and of course, powerhouse legumes like beans and lentils. All of these are just packed with the exact kind of fiber your body needs right now.
Fruits are another fantastic choice. Now here's a pro tip from the experts. When you eat apples, leave the skin on. Why? Because that skin is full of a special soluble fiber called pectin, which is just brilliant for your digestion. Oh, and you'll notice we say ripe bananas. That's key, because unripe ones can actually have the opposite effect.
And to round out our healing toolkit, let's talk about grains and a few other helpers. Always go for whole grains over the refined stuff, so that means brown rice instead of white and whole wheat rotis. On top of that, probiotics from things like yogurt or curd help keep your gut happy, and a little bit of healthy fat from ghee or olive oil can, help things move along smoothly.
All right, now that we've loaded up our toolkit with all the good stuff, it's just as important to know what to steer clear of. And don't think of these as strict, harsh rules. Just think of them as common triggers that can get in the way of your healing.
So what are the big five? Let's take a look at the main culprits to keep an eye on.
Okay, number one, spicy foods. They can really irritate an already sensitive system. Next up, processed foods. Things made with white bread or maida have had all their fiber stripped away. Fried and fatty foods can slow your digestion way down. For some people, too much dairy can be a trigger. And finally, red and processed meats are low in fiber and just tougher for your body to process.
And it's not just about solid food. It's a good idea to be mindful of these things too. Both caffeine and alcohol can dehydrate you, which makes constipation worse. Super salty snacks can cause water retention. And yeah, there it is again, make sure those bananas are ripe.
Okay, so let's put this all together and see what it looks like in practice. This sample plan is a great example of a healing day of eating. Notice how it starts with simple hydration in the morning. For lunch, you see that key swap, 1 cup of brown rice instead of white. And dinner follows the same idea, built around whole wheat rotis and lots of fiber-rich veggies. This isn't a strict rule book, just a fantastic template to get you started. Now, your diet is the absolute foundation for relief, but there are a few key lifestyle habits that can really supercharge your results. Let's look at how a few simple daily actions can support everything you're doing with your food.
There are really 4 essential habits to think about. First, regular exercise. Even a simple 30-minute walk gets your digestive system moving.
Second, when you feel the urge to go, go. Don't delay it. Third, using a small footstool when you're on the toilet actually changes your posture and reduces strain. And finally, be gentle with your hygiene to avoid any more irritation.
We've covered so many powerful things you can do for yourself at home, but it's also incredibly important to know the signs that tell you it's time to get some professional medical help.
And this part is really important. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, we're talking severe pain that doesn't go away, heavy bleeding, new lumps, or anything like black stools or a fever, please see a doctor right away. These are red flags that absolutely need professional medical attention. And this is just a great reminder from the experts themselves. This isn't just theory, it's a proven method. Hundreds of patients find real, lasting relief by focusing on their nutrition and lifestyle. It just reinforces that the changes we've talked about today really, truly work.
So you might be wondering, how long does this all take? Well, with consistent changes to your diet and habits, most people start to feel a really significant improvement in just 1 to 2 weeks. That's a powerful and super encouraging timeline. It shows just how quickly your body can respond when you give it the right care.
At the end of the day, the power to manage this and find real, lasting comfort is truly in your hands and on your plate. So, the real question is, are you ready to take control of your health? One forkful at a time.